What is going on, YouTube fam? Back with another video, and today we're going to talk about double standards. Yes, that's right, double standards. Men's and women's double standards when it comes to abuse on children by women versus abuse on children by men. Now, I've got this video about this 31-year-old woman who had sexual relationships with a 13-year-old. She got pregnant. They had a child, and she faced no jail time. And I've seen one too many cases like this. Now, I don't remember. I'm going to do kind of like a blind react. I kind of seen this case before, but not entirely the whole thing. So I don't remember if the kid ended up having to pay child support, but I know there was such other case not too long ago where it was the same thing. And it was just terrible, man. But let's not waste too much time. Let's go ahead and get right into the video.
A 31-year-old woman who admits to having sex with a 13-year-old boy and then becoming pregnant with his child won't face any jail time under a plea deal with prosecutors.
11 Call for Action investigative reporter Matt Kroschel is joining us live tonight. Matt, 31-year-old.
You see how crazy that is? You see how crazy it is that she won't face any jail time after she committed the crime of raping a 13-year-old. Now, listen, I believe that if we're going to have punishments for these crimes, which is the worst imaginable, listen, I believe that all child diddlers, whether male or women, and the men actually serve to be castrated and killed. Like, not even joking. They shouldn't, if they're going to live, they should live castrated with no sexual parts. Same thing should happen to the women. If you're going to give jail time to the men, you should do the same thing for the women. Why is it in a society that where we're supposed to all be equal, there seems to be like this double standard, this hierarchy when it comes to our criminal justice system? Because it's not just this. If you look at the crimes, similar crimes committed by both groups, women on average get a lighter sentence than men do, and that's just a fact. And it kind of sucks. I mean, look at this case right here. This woman, she committed a nasty act, yet she won't face any jail time. And I 100% assure you that if a man had committed this exact same crime and gotten the little girl pregnant, he would have been facing a bunch of years in jail. And everybody would have been mad, and rightfully so. But we need to keep the same energy for stuff like this. But let's go ahead and keep watching.
Andrea Serrano was facing charges but accepted this new plea deal to stay out of prison.
Adam Serrano gave birth to a baby boy. She admitted to having sex with that 13-year-old. The victim's mother, who we're not going to identify in this story, tells us she is not happy with this deal offered to a woman she says ruined her son's life.
I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild that that now that kid has to be a father, and let's say he doesn't want to be a father. Guess what's going to happen to him? He's going to have to pay child support. You know what the crazy part is? The minimum age to work in the United States is 16 years old, unless you can work, I believe, under that. But it has to be like at a mom and pop shop, and you don't really get paid or whatever. But if you want to get like an actual job outside of like helping around in your house, right, you have to be at least 16 years old in the United States. If he decides he does not want to be part of that kid's life, and she decides that she wants help from the government, he will actually owe back pay. He will actually owe from when the kid was born. He will owe child support to this woman. He is not legal. He's not old enough to legally work in the U.S. yet. He will owe child support from the age of 13 to this woman. Our laws are completely screwed. He is the victim. He was assaulted by this woman. She got no jail time. She gets to keep her child. I'm not sure if she has to register as a sex offender. We're gonna watch the video and see what happens. But if she doesn't have to, that's crazy. And to keep your child, you can't be an offender and have children. So if she gets to keep the child, she probably doesn't have to register. But let's go ahead and keep going. Let's keep watching this.
Life.
This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart.
What has this been like for your son?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down a lot.
Now she questions why this woman won't face prison time.
I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking incarceration.
Of course.
And I feel like because she's a woman, they're not. They're having compassion for her because she was pregnant. But I don't think they take into play, again, she was pregnant by a child. You know, that child was created from a sexual abuse.
Under terms of the plea deal the suspect signed off on, she'll be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life of sex offender.
Okay, so my mistake there. She had to register as a sex offender. So I'm not sure. I don't know how she's going to end up keeping her child. I'm not sure how that works. But that's kind of crazy. And she only has to register. She can register. They can make her register for up to life, but a minimum sentence of 10 years. I mean, the act doesn't change. She did that, and that's for life. There was an actual child produced out of that act. So how is it that they're going to make her do it for 10 years? Again, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the double standards. And it's crazy because you always see women leading the fight and talking about they want equal rights in this country, which I think they should have. I'm not arguing that they shouldn't. I'm not arguing against women having equal rights. But for things like this, you never really see them arguing for things like this, for equal rights like this. Never when it comes to incarceration times, never when it comes to punishment, never when it comes to anything, do women argue for equality. They don't argue for equality in trying to be bricklayers. They don't argue for equality in trying to be construction workers. They don't argue for equality in trying to be oil rig workers. They don't argue for equality when it comes to any job that is an actual physical demanding job. But they argue for equality when it comes to being in those top level positions. Like, oh, there are not enough women CEOs. Well, there's a lot more men because a lot more men get down and dirty and work their way up the company. You think that just because you're a woman that you should automatically just be at the top of the company? No. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, I just think it's extremely funny how the law is never applied the same when it comes to the same crimes. Again, if this was a man and not defending the act or the crime, or not trying to make this about women versus men, but we know for a fact that if this was a man, he would have been under the jail. This wouldn't have been a thing. And because she's a woman and she was pregnant, she was showing compassion, which I think is absolute bullshit. That's bullshit. There should be no compassion shown whatsoever here for this lady, because she committed a crime with a minor. So anyways, I don't have too much to say. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. And what do you think about the double standards in the US when it comes to the law? And what do you think about the child having to pay child support and having to owe child support from the age of 13, where he's not even legally allowed to work? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.